If you're reckless with your money, not caring where it's going or what you're doing, then I'm afraid you're going to be on your tools longer than you want. Any former grad I've had, if they're 8, 10 years deep, the one common thing they always say is, I wished I would have started saving earlier. Last Sunday's Bible study was on money. We did the 5 steps to budgeting, saving, and building wealth. And I think it's important to talk about, especially with our students here at KWI. Statistics behind me here, a couple quick things. There's 2,300 verses in the Bible that deal with money and possessions. Jesus talks about money second, only to the kingdom of heaven. Like if you listen to his parables, he ties that into assets, money, and being wise with those things. And I want to parallel that with how important it is for today's Americans to consider better money management. Looking behind me here, 57% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency. 89% of Americans can't pay off a Christmas purchase in 1 month, which means moms and dads are going into debt to make a child's Christmas dreams come true. And I'm not hating on that necessarily, but at the same time, from a Christian biblical worldview, Christmas is about the birth of Jesus and not going into debt with some commercialized idea of what it needs to be. At the P's house, and this is just us, our kids get 3 gifts from mom and dad because Jesus got 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Maybe that's something you'd like to try with your family to be. Less than 1/3 of American households have a budget, so you don't know where your money's coming and going or how it's bleeding out the back. 1 in 5 Americans didn't save any money in 2022. 64% of Americans live check to check. And that is sad. And the average American starts saving for retirement at 53 years old. Now, I don't know about your investment specialist, but my CFP tells me if you waited till you're 53 to start saving for retirement, just forget about it. It's too little, too late. Time horizon is the biggest thing you've got going for you, so you need to start saving as young as possible for that retirement. So these are some statistics that I use in the beginning of our Bible study at KWI to hopefully garner some interest and pull in my students so we can start talking about money and where they want to be. Because they came to us to learn a trade, but ultimately a means to an end. They have a picture in their mind of where they're at when they're 30 or 40 years old. And they're married with 3 kids, 2 dogs, 100 acres, a small cattle farm, a Duramax, whatever. But in order for that dream to happen, they have to start backwards planning on how to manage their finances in order to get there. Otherwise, they're going to be on their tools and broke the rest of their lives. But if they can start young, those first year to 3 out the gate, by not trying to keep up with the Joneses, personally, I think they'll be in much better shape. We talked about Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent certainly lead to profit, but anyone who is reckless certainly becomes poor. And again, if you've got a plan, a strategy when you break out into the welding industry on what you're going to do with your money, then being diligent will lead to profit. But if you're reckless with your money, not caring where it's going or what you're doing, then I'm afraid you're going to be on your tools longer than you want. Any former grad I've had, if they're 8, 10 years deep, the one common thing they always say is, I wished I would have started saving earlier. A lot of times, if you can picture yourself at a young age, so our biggest demographic is that 18 to 20 year old. At 18 to 20, if you can close your eyes and picture some of the toys you'd like to have, now rewind in time. When you were 6, when you were 8, when you were 10, the types of toys you wanted at 6, were they the same things that you wanted at 8 years old, at 10 years old, at 12? And of course, once you hit high school, those toys all changed drastically. Well, I'd imagine that they will too from 18 years old to 25 to 35. So again, if you can push the pause button on some of these toys you're looking to purchase, some of these liabilities, and really start saving for the future you, the family that you want to carve out, I think you'll be much more satisfied with where you're at in 10, 15, 20 years down the road. We talked 2 Thessalonians 3:11 and through 12. For we hear that there are some among you who walk irresponsibly, not working at all, but interfering with the work of others. Now we command and exhort such people by the Lord Jesus Christ, that quietly working they may eat their own food. And I think this, some people say, hey, the Bible, I don't read it because it's old school. It doesn't make any sense. It's not applicable to us in 2023. Read 2 Thessalonians one more time. And it's talking about those who walk irresponsibly, not working at all, but spending their time interfering with the work of others. And tell me that this doesn't speak volumes to a large portion of Americans today, maybe sitting on the couch, collecting a check. I still have time though to scroll Facebook and gossip and back and forth. And again, the Bible speaks to not being that type of person, but instead to go out and work. So I can get behind that for sure. We talked about a couple of emergencies that might pop up on our demographic. So maybe a breakdown of the car and having dependable transportation to that job is important. So we transition to some budgeting type of help there. So I use an Edward Jones file that I do personally. It tracks my family's spending on many different facets of, so maybe some things are mortgage and water bill, electric, and then we get into groceries and gas and that kind of thing, but I can track where my money goes. We challenge students to do the same. A lot of CFPs, you go in and want to start talking about retirement, and your CFP, your financial planner, is going to ask you, well, how much money do you need in retirement? And my CFP tells me that most people give them a blank look. They don't know. I guess it's how much money I make now, because they have no idea really what they spend or where their money is going. Don't be that guy. Go ahead and start tracking where your expenses are going. In this study we had, the speaker talked about 5 different things you should start saving for. So the first thing you need to start doing is paying down any debt you have. So whatever money you have, if you have a $200 a month payment on something, then obviously that $200 needs to be earmarked for that. Once that gets paid down, then you would move into some savings. You want to try to make at least a $1,000 emergency savings, and then let that grow. At my age, I'm looking at 6 months worth of emergency savings. Should I get hurt and not be able to go to work, I need 6 months worth of bills in a nest egg. Now, I would not put that in a checking or savings account. I would have that in a money market account that was still very liquid to me, but a money market account is going to give me some more interest on that money as opposed to a dead checking or savings account. And then we start talking about pushing money into a retirement plan. Now, I would argue with the video that we watched, I would do retirement pretty dang early, almost before my emergency fund. And that may sound a little backwards, but I truly think that if we're sacrificing, we can do this. Retirement is based on the percentage rates that you're earning and the time horizon, the amount of time you have. So the younger you start, the more profitable you will be. So I would challenge you, at 18, 19 years old, when you start pulling some checks, to go ahead and max out, in my opinion, a Roth IRA. Now, we can argue about this, I guess. Your CPAs are going to tell you to go traditional because they're trying to lower your taxable income now. But I think any good CFP worth his salt is telling you to get a Roth, because I'll take the devil I know over the devil I don't any day of the week. I'd rather pay the taxes now and know that every dime in my Roth is mine. And when I'm at retirement age, I don't care what bracket I'm in, every penny in there is coming to me tax-free. I don't have to do any funky math to figure out what is sitting in there like you would on a traditional IRA. Now, I took my students on a little tour really quick on a couple things just to show them. Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it will earn it. Those who don't will pay it. So I wanted to show them the rule of 72s. If you take 72 and divide it by the interest rate that your money is making, then that will spit out a number that is the years it takes for your money to roll over. So obviously, the higher the number, the higher your interest rate you are going into 72, the smaller number it will spit back out to you, and that is less time it takes for your money to roll over. That's what you're trying to do with this time horizon, is get your money to snowball, to roll over. I took them really quick on a scenario here where we've got an uncle who died and gave 3 siblings, triplets, $5,000. They're each 29 years old. The first triplet is going to put his money where he can get 4%, the second 8%, and the third 12%. And you're going to think, hey, that's not a lot of difference there. But let's see how much time we are able to compound here. Fast forwarding quickly here, you can see that triplet 1 is going to double their money just twice. They're going to make 20 grand after it's all said and done. Triplet 2 is going to double their money much more frequently, 4 times, and get 80,000. But triplet number 3, who went with a 12% interest rate, doubled their money quite a few more times, 320,000. Now, asking you really quick, would you rather have 320,000 or 20,000? I think we can all no-brainer say 320 grand. Then I'm going to ask you, would you rather pay your taxes on 5,000, the original, all right, or the 320,000? And that's the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Again, I would rather pay my taxes now, knowing what it is, and not wait till I'm starting to pull it out to pay that taxes. Then I talked really quick because credit cards are a snare to us, just showing some students. And credit cards are going to charge you upwards. 18% would be conservative for a credit card, I think. But look how much money, if you get yourself into credit card debt, you're going to pay quite a bit of money. So I am a fan of credit cards. I think that you should get a credit card. It helps build your credit. It's also a good way to track your money and where it's coming and going. I can spin my Discover card spreadsheet on its nose, and it can tell me what I'm spending in auto or Walmart, different categories of spending, and it's always there. And again, if I lose my credit card, I can call and get it canceled, no worries. If I drop my wallet with $500 in it, who knows if it'll show back up. You're going to want to watch yourself because the credit card companies are getting you with interest. If you are misusing it and you can't pay it off monthly, then you're going to get yourself into some real trouble. Your credit card statement will say, hey, listen, you owe us $1,000, but your minimum payment is $18. If you're hooked with that and you only pay the $18, then the next month coming in, you'll be paying the difference of that $18 and $1,000 with their compound with their interest rate. And if you couldn't afford it the first month, you dang sure can't afford it the second month with the interest rolling over on you. So if you've got an uncle or somebody telling you that credit cards are the devil, they probably just didn't use the credit card responsibly. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just letting you know that if you use the tool wisely, you'll be fine. And it really is a great tool to help you build your credit. You're going to need it in a pinch. If you're a young welder traveling the road, you're probably going to need a credit card to reserve your hotel rooms, etc. So I would go ahead and get started with a credit card. Just watch yourself on paying it off monthly. So I would recommend tying your credit card to your checking account so that you can do auto bill pay from your bank's checking account, and you won't miss a payment that way. So you'll always have good credit. And any disputes, at least I know with Discover card, I've had my credit card, I guess, hacked or whatever, maybe 3 times in the 20 years I've been with Discover. I call them up, I dispute the charge. They either wipe it clean or they'll wipe it clean and send me a new credit card if my numbers have been hacked so bad that they need to issue me a new one. But I've never paid for a fraudulent charge ever. We always wrap up with the gospel in our Bible studies at KWI, just letting students know where they sit. So we've got creation. God created us 6,000 years ago. If we count the generations from Adam to Abraham, we get 2,000. If we go from Abraham to Jesus, we get 2,000. If we go from Jesus to now, we're in the year 2000. I'm going to say the world is only 6,000 years old. I don't care what your secular scientist book says about that. The fall, there was a fall, right? We were given free will. Adam and Eve had a choice. They were tempted by the devil. In Genesis 3, he said, did God really say? He's just kidding with you. If you eat this fruit, you can be like God. He's trying to elevate us to a God-like status, which is where we all live in right now today. If you think about it, we have an iPhone, and lots of things are very prideful and self-centered. So we're all trying to be gods of our own universe. If we can squash that with a little humility and worship the one true God, then we're making good strides towards that. Unfortunately, there's nothing actually that we can do works-based that gets us in a right relationship with God other than accepting what He's done for us on the cross in the person of His Son, Jesus Christ. And that is your last couple steps there. So there is a Creator who created us. There was a fall. We can get back with Jesus, and then we'll be restored in heaven with our Creator God. Wrapping up in summary, James 1:22 says, be doers of the word, not just hearers, lest you're a hypocrite. You're deceiving yourself. I call this the homework verse. So we challenge our students after that Bible study, how can they put what we've learned this Sunday into action this coming week? Number one is go to work. You're not going to be wealthy or be able to accumulate wealth and be responsible with that if you don't focus on that job. Now, the average millionaire has, I think, 10 streams of income, if I'm accurate on that. But you can't start making some moves on passive income or rental property, etc., if you don't go get that career first and establish that first stream of income. We challenge you to build a $1,000 emergency fund. Should something go wrong, you'd like to be able to have that cash handy and not have to go into debt over something silly. Attack your debt. Get out of it if you can. And the best way, especially if our students typically are younger, is to not get into debt. Like, man, if you can go, how long have you gone so far without a 2024 Duramax? I mean, if you're 18, you've gone 18 years because they haven't even come off the line yet. But could you ask yourself to go 2 or 3 more years? Just keep driving that beater whatever you've got, and put that $1,000 truck payment that you would probably be spending in the bank. Let that cash build, and then you can stay out of debt. You can put a whole lot more down and save yourself. You don't have to take out an 84-month loan with 7, 8, 9, 10% interest. Build your savings account. You're looking for eventually a 6-month savings emergency fund, and then of course go ahead and get on that retirement. And I would recommend as soon as possible start maxing out that Roth IRA, so that by the time you're 59 and a half, you are comfortable and your kids aren't taking care of you. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth obtained by fraud will dwindle, but whoever earns it through labor will multiply it. Again, be diligent with your money. And that too, again, I hope I'm not coming across greedy as far as money. I consider money a tool, just like anything. I'm a big Second Amendment fan. I think that guns don't kill people. Guns are tools. They can put food on my table. They can defend my family. In the wrong hands, yes, they can do some dangerous things. I think money does the same thing. Money, if given to people and they act bad with it, it's really just multiplying that pride issue they have. Kind of like alcohol. Most of those things will bubble up who that person truly is. So money in good hands will do good things. Proverbs 24:33-34, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms to rest, and your poverty will come like a robber, your need like a bandit. So folks, don't get lazy, don't tread water, go to work, be smart with your money, and crush those goals.